Ross Chastain used the wall all the way around this racetrack. Logano has been the class of the field.
Check out the big brain on Brad.
Yeah, I need to change my underwear.
The championship 4 is set. The NASCAR season has one race remaining. We will be crowning the champion on Sunday. Brian Twining will be on site. What started back in February, Brian, of ups, of downs, of all arounds, is going to come to its conclusion. Chase Briscoe, Dennis Hamlin, Kyle Larson, and William effing Byron are going to be racing for a championship on Sunday, meaning no Penske, no Chris Bell, some heavy hitters. We have a lot to get into this week. We'll talk, obviously, championship to win the championship odds, but we'll also talk about the race because, as Brian and I were talking a little bit before we started recording, this race with the names that aren't in the championship 4 feels about as open as we've had in a long, long time. I know we saw Ross win a couple of years ago. That was kind of seemed fluky. We potentially could get another result like that, but Brian Twining, how was Martinsville? Where is your head at, and how's things?
Yeah, first we just got to apologize for not getting a show out on Saturday. I was 3 sheets to the wind at a wedding, so there was no way I was going to record. And of course,
I hurt my back trying to move or getting ready to move, and I was unable to sit in a chair for about 2 days. So just it was not happening. So yeah, it's been kind of a mess down the stretch. I appreciate everyone who's sticking with us. Next season, I will have a brand new studio where I will be recording from. Very excited about that. Build out my office during the off season and then get that going. But we'll be back on full tilt next season. As always, we're interested in what you guys have for the off season content, for stuff you'd like to see, and things that we can improve on as we head into next year. But it's good to shout that out because not recording these last 2 weeks for the DFS preview has been kind of a bummer, but real life and all that.
Going back to the race though, I actually enjoyed the race. I know some people were just talking about, oh, this is kind of boring, but you did see guys moving through the field. I mean, it took about 45 laps, 50 laps before you started to see separation in the lap times. And, we had talked on, very sadly, the last pre-race poll with Mr. Chris Wormy. A lot of people,
championship,
including myself, we didn't think that Ryan Blaney was going to be all that good. Sure enough, he told all of us, "What the hell do you know?"
Yeah,
and immediately,
death, taxes, and YRB at Martinsville is like,
yeah,
what are we doing?
It apparently does not matter the tire. It doesn't matter anything. No. Ryan Blaney is the sport's best at Martinsville in the fall. Now, William Byron got the win.
We're calling him the Austin Dillon of Richmond, basically the same guy.
Yeah, exactly. Like you can bank on those guys just being good there.
Austin Dillon, Ryan Blaney, shaking hands.
I mean, that's probably the
basically
only
the same driver
in the same breath. But yeah, I thought the race was incredible. I didn't have anything on Byron to win. I didn't have anything on Blaney to win the race either. I just had championship futures on both of them.
So I said Byron was going to win the race. I think like 3 laps in when I texted you. Of course I didn't bet it. I bet Chase Elliott instead because, I don't actually think Byron can win the championship.
Yeah, but then like 50 laps in, you texted me and you said Ryan Blaney's going to get up there and win the races.
It's a wide range of copium and ups and downs. And as someone who had a nice ticket on him to hopefully win the championship, it stinks to lose it. But shouts to William Byron for not only getting the win, but going and taking it.
Yes.
So much of what William Byron has done over, especially the last year or so, qualify well, put himself in position, and just stay out front. Figure it out. Don't worry about it. This one, he had Ryan Blaney at his dream track running laps, getting away from everybody. And he said, nope, front fender to your rear, moving you out of the way, going around you. I'm not letting you take that shit back. And it was impressive. If you told me like, if you gave me like 3 to 5 to 10 guesses of someone stole this race from Ryan Blaney, who was it? Byron wouldn't have been there. I'd think, oh yeah, Byron was probably 7th all day and got stuck back in traffic and never really pushed his way. But for him to not only get back to the front, but then to really race, and it was clean too. It wasn't dirty. It wasn't malicious. Even Blaney was like his, I totally get it. But he did what he needed to do, got around him, and locked it in. So from that perspective, I give Byron a lot of props.
I do want to add though that I feel like Hendrick caught a lucky break when how did it go? They didn't pit when a bunch of other cars did, and they stayed out to win the stage. I believe it was at the end of stage 2, which forced them to start further back in the pack on only like 10 lap fresher tires, which had the thing finished out green completely in stage 3, Ryan Blaney is winning.
Yeah, there was definitely a roller coaster if you're Rick Hendrick. The cautions ended up ultimately falling fine at the end, but yeah, there was a point where it was like, okay, Byron's going to win, Larson will be in there, and then nope, they're both out, and it's going to be Blaney and probably Bell. And then okay, here comes Larson. Larson will probably get that last spot.
Christopher Bell we kind of hit on this a few weeks ago when we were talking about he has not been great.
No, he had the amazing first, and he even said it coming out of Vegas, like he had a shot and he didn't take advantage of it. And Denny wins, and Denny's in the final 4 and he's not. But Christopher Bell is just like, I don't know. He was amazing to start the year, and obviously he's been really consistent, but he's not winning nearly as many races. How many races did he actually win throughout the whole season? I
think he finished with 3.
Yeah. So he won the 3 initial ones and then was basically not there. And there was a lot where like he was like 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, but you never felt like he was a race winner. Like he was always kind of that second tier.
I think him missing out too, like there's been so much discussion lately of the playoff format and all that stuff and it changing and it's not the rightful winner, blah, 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 whatever. Christopher Bell, I know he was really good this round in terms of like average finish and all that type of stuff, but you can't sit here and try to tell me that the 4 guys that got in aren't as equally deserving or more deserving than Bell to race for a championship when 3 of them won races.
Well, and Byron, regular season champion before the final race of the year.
And the bullshit that happened at the super speedway is not his fault.
And the Ty Dillon of it all.
And the Ty Dillon incident at Vegas.
He probably should have been much higher in both of those and been on the right side of the cut line.
Yeah.
But obviously, and I said it was going to happen. I didn't bet it. I didn't do anything about it because I'm a doofus and I don't like making money. But I said he was going to win after those 2 things. He obviously wins. Didn't bet his future because I'm a doofus. But I actually don't think he can win it at Phoenix. I think his teammates have a much, much better shot. But
I will say
with a chance.
Of the 4,
and if I told you one of these guys is going to qualify well, it's going to kind of just be there at the end, and maybe they don't win the race, maybe they finish 3rd, but they're just kind of fine, it'd be William Byron. He's your champion. Like that. That feels like a real.
The last thing I wanted to say on the championship 4, and this might piss some people off, the one guy who I feel like we could have eliminated and felt totally comfortable with based on recent performance is Kyle Larson, because that team has not been elite lately. They've been good, but they have not been elite. Yeah. And I know that's going to ruffle some feathers because he's still considered the best driver in the sport and all this crap, but like championship performances are doing it when it matters most. Like a Denny Hamlin at Vegas, like Chase Briscoe at Talladega. Yeah, it's super speedway, but he made it happen.
Byron at Martinsville.
Byron at Martinsville.
I don't think that's crazy. I think he's much more into the Christopher Bell mold. Like Hendrick just kind of went away and they were like, I don't know. All right. So we'll obviously look at odds. We'll look at championship. We'll look at race odds, top tens, all that good stuff. I did want to bring this up because we almost hit it perfectly. Obviously, we took a shot on Mr. SVG, making it out. Obviously, he got eliminated at the round of 16. If we had made it to the round of 12, then he wins at the Roval and makes it to the round of 8. So obviously, that was our move there.
Damn, Blaney.
And Blaney we had in there, and maybe he, obviously if he wins, then Byron's out. But Byron is one guy that I was like, he's gonna get there. It's gonna be weird. It's not gonna make sense. And he, sure enough, so we did pretty well. I'm proud of the kind of the way we were able to put our heads together and get pretty close. But we'll see how that goes. I actually didn't have a bet on the bet tracker. That's on me. I was, like I said, in a ball on the floor after hurting my back, so that was really fun. But you had Priest top 10, where he was potentially top 5 car. He was really good at the end. Obviously, you had him over Keselowski.
Ryan Preece was going to win the race.
Sure. Denny Hamlin top 5. That felt really strong until the end.
The damn car explodes.
His car explodes, which has been a little bit of a trend as we go to the final race. So we'll see how.
I almost feel like it was not intentional, but they were possibly like riding the lines of limits of a car part.
I also feel him and Briscoe were like, if it was a week 23 race and it didn't and it was like more important to getting in the playoffs, they get those cars fixed and they get them back on the track. But they're
no, that's the thing. They don't even have that problem if it's that, because right. I don't think it's a coincidence that the two guys that were already locked into the championship race had issues, because they were probably breaching the limit of whatever part they were trying to test with, and it wound up expiring.
Yeah, they know that limit now. So you're ever closer to that break-even point. I'm about 4 units up. Hopefully going to hit a few as we go in. I do have Briscoe as my only future left. You have none, but we had some season. We'll obviously do a season recap. I'm Byron in the Champ 4. I'll have to go back and figure out what the odds were when we talked about that. But all right, well, should we start with the race, or do you want to start with the championship 4?
We can start with the championship real quick and just.
Chase Briscoe not being the 4th favorite is boggling my mind. I know it's Chase Briscoe. I know it's his first year in JGR. I know the Hendrick guys probably make more sense, and Denny's just been so unbelievable that you probably have to price it this way. But if based on current numbers, the only one I'd even consider betting is Chase Briscoe.
Yeah, I think if you're looking at championship numbers,
because he was like what 4 or 5 to 1 before the last race.
I think he was as long as 4. I saw.
And now you don't have to go up against Blaney or Logano
or Bell
or Christopher Bell, and you can still get basically the same number.
And something I've been thinking about a lot since that race. Mm-hmm. Christopher Bell and Chase Briscoe, I would assume, are much closer than, say, Christopher Bell and Denny Hamlin, albeit Bell's been Hamlin's teammate for longer. But knowing the path that Briscoe took to get to the Cup Series and how Bell kind of helped him get this call from Joe and all that stuff. Not that Christopher is going to withhold information from Denny, or Denny is even going to ask him. I don't know what that dynamic is like, but I do think that you could see Christopher helping Chase maybe a little bit more than his other teammate.
Well, even if it's just like the mental part of, okay, this is what you should expect when you go into the championship 4. And here's how the last, the 2 years that I've been in there, it's been a little bit different than, kind of normal races. And obviously, like we talked about, he was in the round of 8. There was a chance that he was going to win the final race and get to Phoenix with a chance when he's with SHR. So it's not like it's a brand new scenario where he came out of nowhere. He's never winning races. He's never being competitive and never been in the playoffs. Like, he's been there. He's had chances. Like, he was never really there because he wasn't with Hendrick or Joe Gibbs or even Penske. But
I do also see a slight similarity in Briscoe's like last couple months to what Ryan Blaney did during his championship run when he really turned it on in those last like 12 to 14 races. And the fact that it's his first championship 4 appearance, very similar to the 12. We know Briscoe is probably going to go out here and put it on or right near the front row in qualifying because that car has just been OP on Saturdays. And, you know, Briscoe does that, grabs the first pit stall in Phoenix, he's going to be tough to beat. So, I mean, if you don't have any exposure to these guys, I do think playing his championship price is probably the best and only one that I would really consider at this time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's a weird thing because typically we're like, well, the guy who wins the race is probably going to be your champion. So might as well just flip over, look at those race odds and
Not
win.
so fast,
But not this year. It does not feel like with both Penske, and we'll see like
with Ford not having a car in the conversation, that broadens the possibility of race winners here exponentially than what we've seen in previous years, in my opinion.
No, I think that's a very valid point.
Because they're not going to be out there helping anybody but themselves here.
No, not unless they're like, you know, like if Bubba was here or something, like I could see Blaney being a little helpful there, but
yeah,
for the most part. And I am curious to see like how aggressive or not aggressive some people are going to be if they're willing. Hey, here comes the contenders. I'm going to be a little less blocky or a little less like in the way. I'm just going to slide over and let them drive by. Or if they're going to be like, I can go get a win, I'm going to go do it.
Yeah, exactly. Like I've never really understood that since we started doing this a few years ago. I mean, obviously we kind of were showing the reins and all this stuff. Like it made some sense that guys would let the championship 4 cars race it out. But I mean, if you have a car of equal or better equipment or a better speed that day, like screw that, go race for a win. You're still racing for a prize pool and a trophy at the end of the day. And that guy could still win the championship and not win the race.
And it's a great feeling heading into 2026 with, okay, we got a big win at the end of the year.
Exactly.
Car looked great. Good vibes going into the offseason prep. We saw how good it was for Ross Chastain. Even though he wasn't in the Champ 4, he went out and won the race, and he was the best car by a while. We're still yet to see whether being the best car actually matters or results in the winner. But
this year, not so much.
Not so much. But yeah, interesting group of names. We talked about how like intense the field was. To not get a Penske car there is still kind of mind-boggling. 2 Hendrick, 2 JGR. They both have teammates in the race, so we'll see how that impacts everything. Would you rather have Ty Gibbs and Chris Bell, or would you rather have Alex Bowman and Chase Elliott as your kind of helpers on the track?
I think Christopher Bell outweighs both Bowman.
Plus, you get Ty Gibbs, like he could do some dumb stuff to somebody else and like ends up helping you out. And we saw it at Talladega.
He was solid last week, and we saw maybe they turned the corner at Talladega. I mean,
yeah. So, all right. Well, let's flip over and look at race odds because, as we mentioned, there's a lot to get into.
There's a lot going on this week for sure.
Denny, Byron, Larson, then Blaney, then Briscoe, then Bell, Logano. I guess Logano's beyond double digits. So let's stop there. Let's start before him. So Bell, Briscoe, Blaney, Larson, Byron, Hamlin. I know they juice up the championship cars. They get a little extra motivation. Sure, whatever you want to call it. Denny being the favorite
is shocking.
Is mind-boggling. And do you think between his podcast and kind of the narrative and the 60 wins and there's just a little more juice, even if it's not real juice in terms of perception, that they're actually taking the money on Denny? And that's why the numbers are kind of priced the way they are. And they're worried about maybe they have a bunch of championship exposure. I'm actually going to pull up the odds on other books just to kind of do a little comparison. But like, do you think
Denny Hamlin has 6 wins?
Yeah.
I think that is weighing heavily on why he is the perceived favorite for the championship. There isn't anybody in the sport right now, especially this year, that has done more when it matters most than the 11 team. I mean, they've turned it up a notch, I guess you could say.
He also finished second here in the spring.
Yeah. You
so
were mentioning that prior to jumping on here.
Yeah,
That's
I don't think that hurts anything. I think that
No.
only adds a little more juice. It is interesting though. I did point out to you, beyond there, 11th, 11th, 8th, 23rd, 8th, 13th, 3rd, 3rd, 4th, 2nd. To go all the way back to 2019 when he won here, led 143 laps. That was the championship race. 5th, 13th. Like, he's had some solid finishes, and he's always been, like, if you look at his kind of like stage 2 finishes, he's usually right around the top 5 for the most part. But like, he feels a lot like Byron, where I think if he wins the championship, maybe Briscoe has an accident or an issue early, like we've seen with Bell. Maybe Larson does some Larson bullshit and ends up on the side of the road or loses a tire. Maybe Byron has some sort of issue and Denny gets like 4th or 5th and wins the championship. Like I have a hard time seeing him winning this race and winning the championship. Maybe he rubs it in my face. I've been on this thing since we've been going to Phoenix, since we've been doing this. I don't feel like Denny can win here when it matters most. And maybe not having the Penske guys, not having Bell there obviously helps. And maybe he'll shove it in my face because he's having the amazing season. And maybe he goes out, wins the championship, and says, you know what? Double birds, 11 out, and retires. Who knows? He's tired of dealing with NASCAR shit. He's going to be like, I'm going to go into the sponsor thing. The other thing Gluck and Bianchi were talking about in the teardown is like just the massive fall off for some of these guys. We've seen it with Busch and Keselowski and Martin Truex and all these guys. Like, if he's older, he has had another child, like he's a team owner, he's all that stuff. He could be like, I'm good. I'm ready to retire. I'm gonna call it a shot. I'm gonna do podcasts and I'm gonna do.
I don't see him retiring after signing that extension with JGR though.
I mean, he had to scratch and claw to get sponsors all year long. Like, I don't know. It's definitely been a double birds both to NASCAR and to sponsors and all that. And I could see him being like, I'm going to go out on top. But, he's been so good. It's hard for people that competitive just to walk away.
Yeah, I think the narrative on Denny, and I kind of mentioned this to you prior to jumping on here, is a little skewed based on recent results, especially in the Gen 7 era, when you consider the fact that he hasn't been in the championship race during the Gen 7 era when this has been the championship race. So obviously his finishing results aren't going to be as good as what they potentially could be because of the fact that we know teams lean more heavily on whatever representative for that team is in the race. And then when you go back and you look when this race did become the championship race, I believe it was 2019. Hamlin had two straight years while competing in the championship where he finished 4th and 3rd here. So this isn't a track where you can just flat out say he sucks. It's just always been comparatively to the rest of the field and the rest of the elite guys. He was never really considered the best.
Yeah.
But
and maybe that's
when you
breaking my
remove
brain
Ryan Blaney and Christopher Bell from the equation.
Yeah. That's fair. It's completely fair. Especially, as I mentioned, this is Briscoe's real first time. We know Hendrick's up and downs. Kyle Larson has been clearly good enough to get there on points, but not maybe. And that could be another holding him to different standards than we hold a lot of other guys to. And maybe he comes out and dog walks the field and makes me look really, really stupid. But I was just, it was not my expectation walking into this week to see Hamlin as the favorite, even with, the championship boost. That being said, are you interested in betting Hamlin, Byron, Larson, Blaney, Briscoe, or Bell to win the actual race?
So, personally, obviously, I'm still in California right now, so I only have access to offshores. I have outrights on non-playoff guys only. Ryan Blaney at 7, Christopher Bell at 9. I think they're the two most live guys. And what I find interesting is had both of them advanced, they are probably 250, 275 to win the race. Not just the championship, win the race.
Yeah, Blaney's 250 and he's like 185 to win the championship.
I mean, Ryan Blaney has finished runner up here. I believe it's twice in each of the last 2 years. And so he's going to be good. Christopher Bell led the most laps in this race last year while not being in the championship four. And he was probably going to wind up being the best car the day that his car exploded during his first championship appearance. And he was the best car here in the spring. So to give us these prices with the perception that they're not going to go out there and try to race for a win, to me is crazy. And it's really the only direction I feel like you can kind of go right now until you see the championship guys practice.
Like if you want to spin that narrative for Bell, knowing that both Denny and Briscoe are out there,
Yeah,
I could see it a little bit more. I still don't know that I believe it, but like if you want to spin that narrative a little bit because he's got direct teammates out there, but Blaney doesn't even have 4 like partners basically out there. Like he is good. He is no one in that championship. Like I said, if Bubba was racing, friendship, sure. Another Ford, sure. Penske, obviously. But like I don't see anyone out that is in the champ 4 that he's just like, no, I'm gonna go win this race and like get that bad taste of Martinsville out of my mouth, and get one more win on the season. So I think Blaney's very live, and in fact, I just added him to the card at 7. What was it? Yeah, 7 over at Fanduel. Shouts to Fanduel.
Oh, I'll definitely add that. And then one last thing I wanted to add to that Christopher Bell part there. I understand the worries with 2 of his teammates here in the championship race, but having been in the media center a couple of times when a JGR driver, Xfinity or Cup has won a race, and hearing Joe Gibbs talk, and especially after the whole incident in Nashville or Loudon, it was between Denny and Ty, Joe Gibbs is very adamant. Like he lets his drivers figure stuff out on the track. He's not having driver meetings with these guys telling them, you have to do this, you have to do that. He lets them operate by themselves, like individual teams.
Yeah.
This is not Penske where it's like Penske first. This is driver first.
Go in for Penske and we'll worry about everything else after. Joe Gibbs is a little more open, even with his freaking grandson.
Yeah. And so I do think that you're getting a little bit of a discount on Bell because of the fact that he has 2 teammates in there. And if this was ever a spot for him to go out there and say, yeah, I'm still here, mofos, like get ready for next year, he's going to go do it.
Yeah. Let's talk about the next range. Logano, Elliott, Reddick, Ross Chastain, Josh Berry, and then Chris Buescher and Bubba Wallace is kind of like 50 and above. Interesting range. Logano is somebody that I think we could have seen, especially with the little bit of a boost, if he's in the Champ 4, really make a run. Obviously, we've seen him win championships. It's an even year. It's not an odd year, so that's why he's not winning. So it feels like he's not as big of a contender, but the Penske short track package of the things they do has been so good, but that's also propped up by how damn good Ryan Blaney is. So I guess is Logano and even a consideration for you, especially at his shorter price, or is he someone just to kind of slide by as you go to the next group?
Yeah. Contrary to the way I was leaning last week, where I thought Logano would be a little bit better than he actually wound up being, I don't think that Logano is going to be as strong here in Phoenix because he doesn't have that 2-week advantage on the rest of the field, and he's not competing for a championship. And we know when all the chips are put out on the table, if that were the case, I'd be hammering the shit out of Joey this week.
Yeah.
But with him not being in the championship and his fellow Penske driver also not being in the championship, you have to sit there and ask yourself which one is better just in a vacuum. And it's Ryan Blaney. He's been the faster car, the better car all season. So I don't see any reason to go out here and bet Logano.
Yeah. Will be interesting to see what kind of scenario we get next year. It's obviously we know where they switched to Miami, but this also sounds like there's going to be a shift in the playoff system, whether it's a couple races or a handful.
Just please do not go back to the full season format.
I don't think that's happening. I think they're
I don't
doing.
know.
I mean, we will have the whole offseason to argue about that. That'll be fun, but it really feels like we're going to get some version of the chase or like a 4-pack of races or something. And
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. But like I feel like that sets up a Christopher Bell, a Kyle Larson, or I guess Christopher Bell, William Byron, just to be like third in every race and not ever win any.
I was just gonna say,
those.
like, next year, what's gonna be so funny is if they go to the full season format and say Chase Elliott does what he does and he just runs 5th through 7th the entire year, maybe wins one race and runs away with the championship at the end because he has 0 DNFs and an average finish of like 9.2, but only wins once and it's at a super speedway. Are people still going to be happy that he wins the championship and there's 2 drivers behind him that won 5 and 4 races?
Because he's Chase Elliott. If it was
Like,
if
that's
Logano
what I
did the
don't
exact same
understand. Like,
thing,
this
they're
isn't
going to
the
be.
fucking 70s and the 80s anymore. Like,
Yeah, I mean that's a whole
I don't
nother
know.
discussion.
Whatever.
Let's talk more about Chase Elliott.
I could go on and on and on about that.
Because I do believe, and I think that's why we have a little bit of different perspective. We should get some longer term NASCAR fans on this to have that debate this offseason. That might make for interesting podcasting for sure. Chase Elliott 20-1. That feels interesting. No interest. He's like,
if he couldn't win at Martinsville when he needed it most, he's not going to go out there and win Phoenix when he's got 2 teammates with.
Yeah, I mean, he's like a worse bet of the Christopher Bell bet.
Yeah, oh yeah, he would need to be like in the Josh Berry range for me to want to play. Speaking of Josh Berry, I did play him at 45-1 to win this week because just like Ryan Blaney, he's got no allegiances to any of these fools up front. He does not give a shit. If he unloads like he did in the spring, he unloads like he did at, like a Las Vegas type of place where he's just got a good car. He's not going to sit there and say, oh, yeah, I'm going to let one of these championship 4 guys buy me. Like, F no. He's going to go out there and win the damn race.
Brian making his final deposit to the CLV casino with the Josh Berry bet. I mean, good luck, my friend. I mean, if you told me I had to take a guy in that range, I think I'd rather take Ross. But
yeah, they haven't been consistent enough for me.
No, but his upside is higher for me, and that's why. If you're going to tell me someone,
is it really though?
I think so.
I mean, how many wins did Chastain have this year?
1.
How many wins did Josh Berry have this year?
1. How many wins did Chastain have last year?
Who cares about last year? We're talking about this year. That's what I'm saying. Like,
I'm talking about peaks and valleys. If you told me Ross is gonna either blow up on lap 13 or win the race, I would say, yep, that makes sense. Although you could say, I guess you could say the same thing with Josh Berry, who could catch on fire after 2 laps or finish the race in first place. Is that where you cut off though? Like,
nope. There's
Busher,
one more guy.
Bubba. Okay, so who's that guy?
It's the same. Holy shit. It's double the price of Josh Berry, and it's the guy who I was on last week, Ryan Preece. 80-1 on a guy who, in my opinion, had the best car at Martinsville and had things stayed green, probably gets to the front and wins that race. And just sticking with the whole Ford narrative this week, that's basically balls to the wall for all of them. Let's go try to ruin the party for these championship 4 guys and get one of our cars into victory lane. And all of you guys just do everything possible for that. And also you have to account for the fact that Preece finishing where he did 6th this last week after already going out. I think he was like amongst the last couple non-playoff guys in the round of 8. Now that resets and there's only 4 playoff guys, I haven't seen the metric yet, but he's probably going to be going out amongst the last 10 cars to qualify. So he could be qualifying up near the front, and these numbers are going bye-bye quickly if he shows any speed in practice.
I'm fine. Like I just added a Preece top 10 at 4-1. I think that's a good number. I think.
Oh yeah, I do like that. I've played that as well.
Potentially top Ford, potentially some other markets. I can't bet him to win the race. For me, the short list of guys that can actually win the race is obviously the 4 playoff drivers, and then Blaney, Bell, I guess Logano, Ross. Like, I don't know
I
how
think it's
many.
cut off on if you're taking a straw poll on the guys who, not the long shots, but the legitimate drivers that could potentially win, I would say it's limited to maybe 6 or 7 of the top guys. I would not put, this is going to sound weird, but I wouldn't put Elliott up there, in my opinion, just because he's got the 2 Hendrick teammates and the way that camp operates. I would put Chastain in there, but
Did
he's
you put
probably
Tyler Reddick in there?
no. He hasn't won a damn race all year. Like, he with everything that was going on with his son, rookie, it, after realizing that, it's no wonder like the dude's mind was probably all over the place. The fact that he was still able to race while dealing with that is incredible enough. And so I'm sure he just wants to have a result this weekend, but he's not going to be an elite car by any means.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at kind of just Phoenix stuff over the last 7. Ross has a win, 3 top 5s. Where'd he go?
He's good, yeah, for sure.
3 top 5s, 4 top 10s. Denny, right below him in terms of driver rating, has no wins, 1 top 5, 3 top 10s. Ross has led basically twice the amount of laps. Yeah, he's Ross. I'll probably see what the best number is.
Are you trying to tell me you would rather bet Ross Chastain over Denny Hamlin?
If you gave me a head-to-head with a plus money on Ross Chastain, I might take it.
Oh my goodness,
Brian!
I would lay that right now.
I'm going to do some silly shit. It's fun.
Dude, have you seen the beginning of my card for this week?
No, but I'll take a peek. 425 for a top 5. Is that good enough for Ross Chastain?
Yeah, see? Okay, so I think also not having the Blaney and the Bells of the world in the championship race, it makes the top 5 market a little bit harder to come by those fringe guys, because you have to assume the championship 4 are going to be riding around the top 8 pretty much all day, which is what we routinely see.
Yeah.
And then you add in Blaney and Bell.
Yeah.
So top 5s are going to be difficult.
Yeah. Let me see. Are anything else outright before I flip the page and go to some other stuff?
No, I mean, obviously these are just like fun plays for me. Like I said, I'm not playing any of the championship guys to win the race, because I think you're getting more value out of just betting them to win the championship, which even those numbers suck. So hopefully you're sitting on longer prices, but
like we talked about, we were so last year, like was the coup de grace of just like, okay, give me Tyler Reddick. Okay, he wins Homestead. Give me Ryan Blaney. Okay, he wins Martinsville. We're going to Phoenix with these massive tickets. And then we had Logano at like 20 something. So we were like feeling great.
Yeah.
This year, like that like circumstance never materialized.
Well, and then too, like I know you added it to the card, and we know a lot of other people in the space that are sitting on long Briscoe numbers, which I will admit I'm suffering from a little bit of FOMO of not jumping on that. That being said, had he not won Talladega, like I don't know if he gets in. So
no, for sure.
It kind of played out the way that I thought it would. So I'm happy for everybody that's holding that ticket, because I do think that's a tremendous value. But I think the odds also indicate like where the books kind of say he should be amongst the guys that made it, I guess.
Yeah, well, and I get it. Like, I mean, people even at like 20 were like, when you could get Chase and you could get Logs and you could get some of these other guys with, even if it's perception.
Well, that's kind of where I was. That's what I was looking at. Yeah.
Yeah. Like if you're looking at those guys and you're going, okay, he's never been there. These guys have been there and they've won. Like there's a real path. Like, why am I going to put my hard-earned American dollars on fucking Chase Briscoe?
No, on James Small, who I think that narrative got flipped on its head.
I think this year has been like the complete reversal. Maybe Martin Truex, and we've seen it with Kyle Busch. We've seen it with all these older guys. Maybe James Small is that fucking incredible, and he's actually like the fact that he was able to make Truex that competitive when he was.
We talked about it when Briscoe started to pop and how their opposite like personalities melded very well. Whereas James Small and Martin Truex Jr. both yelling curse words at each other, one in his crazy accent that Martin probably couldn't understand half the time, and the other one just spouting off F-bombs, was not working at the end of their run together. And also too, it didn't help that Martin was probably thinking of the fish he was going to be catching that on Monday instead of trying to go out there and battle with the schmucks on the track. So
The top Chevy market in theory, like especially with Chastain, could be interesting, but like
I think at that point you're just betting him to win because he's got to finish.
That's what I'm saying. Like Larson obviously could pop and be the elite guy. Byron is like, I have a hard time seeing Byron finish 17th. Like I think he's going to be in the conversation
unless Byron has a mechanical failure or some sort of issue that's not of his doing. He's going to be in the top 5 all day.
Yeah, so I got to figure out how I'm going to get Ross on my card and I get properly paid out. Top 5 seems like the number, but like you said, it could easily be like 1 or 2 Penske guys, 1 or 2 JGR guys, and a Hendrick guy, or 2 Hendrick guys, 2 JGR guys, and a Penske guy. Like there's so many combinations that leave Chastain like 7th. And his top 10 number, I just don't think it's going to be good enough. Let's see what his top 10 number is.
All right. So I do think right now there are a couple markets that I'm not opposed to playing on Ross. So
is minus 120 for a top 10 good enough?
Oh, that is no bueno.
Yeah, that's like Barf City, right? That's like,
yeah, that's crap. So what I'm referred to with Chastain is in the head-to-head markets. So currently at ESPN, you can get Chastain at minus 105 over Tyler Reddick,
which I love.
I'm not opposed to that. And then this one is going to be, I don't want to say controversial, but somewhat against the grain. Chastain even money over Joey Logano.
I like it.
Because going back to what I was saying about Joey not being in the championship race, that car is not going to be as souped up as it's been in the past.
I think there's some interesting opportunities if you really believe. Chase Briscoe plus 120 versus Kyle Larson.
I don't hate that either because
Larson could, if you told me one of them's going to crash and one of them's going to be rock solid, even there if they're 4th and not a second playoff driver, I think Briscoe is definitely that name. I'm actually going to add.
All right. I'm going to do it. This is gross, but I'm going to put that Chastain over Logs on here.
And you could take really Elliott too at plus 120.
Yeah, see, I'm not sold on Elliott though. Mind you, I will be in Phoenix. Well, actually, I'll be in Yuma at about 6:30 in the morning on Thursday and trying to grab as many of these as possible as quickly as possible. So
might have to get on a phone call, see what we can get accomplished. I'm going to pull up the ESPN bet over here on my side screen.
I mean, I'm going to have to see which of my accounts aren't
and then aren't attacked.
Toast.
Yeah.
From last year.
Yeah, when you roll in once or twice a year and take them, and they probably don't like that very much.
Yeah. Well, I just remember last year doing the MGM left open the ability to parlay race winner and champion in the Truck Series.
Yeah. That was a good time.
Yeah, that was immediately cooked my account.
Do we have any interest with Zilich and Heim being such massive favorites that adding those two guys to Briscoe, to a Logano, or Briscoe, Byron, Larson, whoever you want to add, Denny, if you just want to get a little extra juice, like is there a number there that would make sense?
I was actually thinking the opposite and playing like all 3 of the dogs in those series. I mean, just think about the shit that we've seen happen in all stock car racing this year. Yeah, I don't even know if they've dropped odds yet, but
I haven't.
there's a legit non-zero chance that both Corey Heim and Connor Zillage do not win the championship.
Yeah.
Especially in Xfinity when you know how good Justin Allgaier is here.
Right. Gator could easily win. We'll see. I'm curious to see what they drop odds, but it would be very fitting for the guys that dominate all year to not win the race, and all the people poke their head up. See, this is why we need 36 races. This is why we can't do it. See,
well, so that's already the talk on social media, like on Kevin Hart's show. It was either today or yesterday. He was freaking out about if either of them win, it's embarrassing for the sport. Which, look, obviously,
but this is why they do this, because even like in those series specifically, those champions are over and no one gives a shit. But now you can legitimately go to Phoenix with a chance, even if
also too, you get to promote it as like, hey, this is not over.
No. I get one more chance to fade Kyle Busch, so I'm gonna do that. Christopher Buescher minus 125 versus Kyle Busch.
Oh man. This Kyle Busch this year is like basically what I did last year with Truex, where I think I bet him to win this race last year, and he wound up putting it on the pole, so I had some CLV there. But then I also went back and I faded him in a couple matchups post qualifying, expecting him to shit the bed.
We only get a couple more opportunities. I'm really curious to see next.
I mean, he's returning next year, but
like, are we just gonna load up the cart and just fade him all year again? Yeah, Byron plus 120 versus Denny feels nice. Ty Gibbs over Hocevar feels nice. There's that.
I don't trust either one of those guys, though.
Yeah, I mean, fair. Chastain over Reddick does feel good. Minus 105. I don't know.
I actually thought about doing this just for the hell of it, but I think it would be kind of funny if the last couple of weeks we were talking about Ty Gibbs and how he turned the corner of being a really good teammate. He goes out here and he wins the championship race.
Be amazing. Be so good. Or he's running up front and wrecks Denny.
Oh my
at the end
god!
Of the race, trying to get a win.
Dude, it
would certainly be interesting.
Yeah.
Certainly be interesting. Yeah, I'm pretty convinced Denny is going to have to go to Homestead next year to win it, but maybe I'll be wrong.
Yeah, but the thing is, next year it might just be points based.
I know.
Honestly, it feels like it's going to be points based, whether it's a multiple race final, like championship round, or 10 the chase, to bring back the chase, where it's 10 races.
Wins just have to be important, though. Like, make them so powerful. Like, maybe not a guarantee, but like you like winning is what matters most.
Not according to a lot of these people. Not according to the OG keyboard warriors.
No. Twitter is just like, especially now that it's X.
Dude,
it's
you go and you look at
there's terrible takes.
There's an X handle that tweets out, or X's out, whatever the hell we call them now, the like weekly updated Winston Cup standings. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure right now it would either be Christopher Bell or Chase Elliott that would have won the championship. And to me, that's fucking asinine. Chase Elliott hasn't been a race-winning car more than twice this year. And it probably wasn't even at the tracks that he won the damn races either. Like, that cannot be the way the sport is ran nowadays. It's like wins need to matter 4x, 6x, 8x, 10x more than any other result on the track.
All right, let's see. No, that's
like, there is no scoring format that should have Denny Hamlin, the series leader in wins, not ranked amongst the top 2 guys.
No, so I'm looking at the 2025 standings. Bell would be number 1 with 4 wins, 1 pole, 13 top 5s, 22 top 10s. Briscoe would be second. Larson would be third. Elliott would be fourth. Byron would be fifth. Blaney would be sixth. And Dennis Hamlin with 6 wins would be seventh.
It's because he missed that one race. And that's the fallacy of that scoring format. Like, you're telling me that because he had a bad result or a non-result in one race, like he should lose that many points?
Well, and like
freaking races.
He had 17 top 10s. So you're telling me that 5 more top 10s, despite having more top 5s, more wins, and 3 more poles is not as impressive?
Thank you. That's what I'm saying. Like, the people that argue to go back to that format, I don't think realize like that is not a good scoring format whatsoever.
I don't know.
I understand the argument that this is not stick and ball sports. Like, there are other
is there
things that can occur that take you out, but at the same time,
I don't know. If you want to,
quarterbacks can get hurt in football.
If you want a racing format that has the champion decided by like June, go watch F1. I don't really want to talk about it.
Whatever. I could go on and on and on. Like, it's so irritating as a newer fan that came from team sports.
Yeah, well, that's us. But the reason why NASCAR is trying to mix things up is because they actually need to grow their audience and obviously they're going against football. They're not going to win, but like they could do some stuff to make it a second screen, make it an option. I don't know.
They could be better at actually promoting the sport, and the fact that they have crossovers that would bring in more eyes. I mean, how many novice or non-NASCAR fans know that Alvin Kamara, a former all-pro running back, perennial Pro Bowler, had his own NASCAR brand? Like, how many people know that?
I didn't even know that.
Nobody. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's ridiculous to me. I mean,
problem.
That's a big problem.
All right. We've been going for almost an hour. Any other bets that you want to look at? Anything else that we should talk through? Any other final thoughts before we review our card and get out of here?
Yeah. So I did want to hit on Ford one more time. The top Ford market is once again, I do think, very live, because beyond Blaney, like I said, I'm not as sold on Logano as I would be if he was in the championship race. And this opens up the door for a guy like Josh Berry, for Ryan Preece, for a pickle man. Like,
yeah, Preece at 20 is interesting. Josh Berry at 7 feels a little short.
Yeah, I think he was 10. He opened up at 10 at most places.
Yeah, maybe you can still find that.
Which this is the week to play that market in particular, because you have to assume the 4 championship guys finish top 5. That only leaves one spot for that top 5. And then the top 4 could basically be 6th, 7th, 8th.
Yeah. Yeah. Because like Toyota really feels like a uphill climb with Briscoe, Bell, Hamlin, even Reddick, if you want to include him. Like,
okay, so just on Logano real quick.
Mm-hmm.
In the Gen 7 era, he only has 2 finishes better than 8th. And they're both his championship wins.
And maybe that'll be the Denny Hamlin thing, where he doesn't really have any impressive wins, except for he has the win when he won the championship. So,
but that's the thing, is like when he's not racing for the championship.
All right. Okay, so let's look at our card. I have this. So I have Blaney at 7. I have Preece to top 10 at 4-1. I have Briscoe, not against Briscoe, because that would make no sense. Who was I fading?
Who's you have Briscoe? I think that was Larson.
Larson, that's right.
Yeah. I mean, that would be impressive if Briscoe.
I know, if you could get plus 120 for him to beat himself. I mean, Larson to beat himself, that'd be like minus 300. Then Brian has Blaney, Bell, Berry, and Preece all to win, plus a Preece top 10 and Chastain over at Logano. We'll try and add more to it. We'll obviously try and be back Saturday night. I think our schedules and our physical being will be in a much better place. That being said, Brian Twining, who is going to be the NASCAR champion when we get to the end of the day on Sunday?
This is going with a little bit of my my heart on this, but Denny Hamlin.
It's really interesting how basically almost a year ago, Denny Hamlin became a fan of one football team, started wearing their uniforms everywhere, started going to games, and had the best season of his career, just winning all these races, probably going to win a championship. It's kind of weird how he started rooting for the right team, and that Buckeye magic just
but let's hope he doesn't have that Buckeye magic, because if he does, that means he's going to have to lose a massive race. like the Buckeyes keep losing to Michigan. So
you know what?
maybe Martinsville was the Michigan game.
Yeah, it didn't feel like it though. If you had been out front and running away with it and then crashed, that would have felt like it.
I mean, he was running near the front and he had a failure.
Fair. I'm still convinced Denny can't win there. I'm pretty convinced Byron can't win there. Kyle Larson could dump truck the field. But I'm going to stay with the guy that I'm riding.
My God, both of us.
Since the beginning. Fellow JGR teammate, Chase Briscoe is going to go from joining a team, people not being sure about how good he is or isn't, to winning a championship in his first season with JGR.
That would be incredible.
He's been arguably the most consistent. He's been awesome on pit road. He's made great decisions. Him and James Small have been just amazing together. He could very easily be like what Bell and all these guys are the first time, where they just have weird shit happen.
Or he could be Ryan Blaney first time there.
But I think he gets it done. I think he does enough, and maybe he doesn't even win. Like I think the odds of the guy winning the championship not winning the race, I feel like is actually is a lot higher than it normally is. I would love to have a market where you could bet championship winner doesn't win the race and see what odds we could get. Maybe it wouldn't actually be that good, because they could, in theory, make a lot more math sense to not win the race. But I think when we're talking, we'll probably do something Monday or Tuesday after the championship, once you get back from Phoenix, kind of recapping it all and talking it all through, and obviously getting our final thoughts out. But I think Chase Briscoe is your 2025 NASCAR champion, which is amazing to say.
Okay, does he win? Okay, so let's piggyback off that real quick before we get out of here. Who's winning the race?
Not a playoff driver. It feels too easy, but I'm gonna say Blaney wins the race. I'm gonna say Briscoe wins the championship.
All right, so I'm gonna go with Bell wins the race.
Bell was the other name that I was thinking about.
And Denny wins the championship.
I don't see a scenario where JGR wins the race and wins the championship unless it's the same guy.
Yeah, but the thing is like if Bell shows up as powerful as he's been, and he was in the spring, he would have to actually slow down, which would then spark the eyes of NASCAR, like race manipulation.
Yeah, if we see the February, March, April Christopher Bell show up at Phoenix,
yeah, he's gonna smoke him.
He's gonna dog walk the field. I think there's, if you told him, I think it's him. I think of the playoff drivers that I think could dog walk the field is Kyle Larson, and only Kyle Larson. I think everyone else will be super competitive and be really good. And we've seen Byron and we've seen Briscoe and all these guys lead a lot of laps. Maybe I'll look stupid, but I think if you told me one of the playoff drivers dog walks the field and wins the championship, it's the 5. But I think it's a non-playoff driver winning, whether that's Bell or Blaney, and then I think Briscoe wins the championship.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
the
go
guy
with
that I
Briscoe.
want to win, Ryan Priest. I want him to win the race.
That'd be incredible. I would
For
love
my-
that. I would love
my
for that to
cash.
happen. Yeah. Let us know down in the comments who's winning the championship, who's winning the race. We'd love to hear from all of you. We will be back, fingers crossed, everything all stars aligned, Saturday night. Brian will be in Phoenix. If you are at the championship race, holler at him. He will come say hello. Mostly be in the media center for most of the race, but I'm sure he could come out and take some pictures, sign some autographs, all that good stuff.
Kiss babies, as you like to say.
Exactly. That's Brian Twining. I'm Kyle Robert. We appreciate everybody who's been with us the entire way, who has been riding and watching and supporting and all that stuff. I do need, and I'll put a thing in the message because I think there's a thing in Grid Rival too. But I need the person who's winning our league. Leapsfrog. Get at us on Twitter or in the comments or something. We need an email. We need something. Ideally with like a screenshot of your team so we can see that it's actually you. But we have a prize for you if you beat me on Sunday. So we will see how that goes. That's Brian Twining. I'm Kyle Robert. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll talk to y'all next time.